little bit better when you were chitting?
It takes a second for the thing to go, but we are live. Reap the harvest. Matt Tack in the house. What's going on, brother?
What's going on? What's
Man,
going
we're just
on?
getting it
How are you?
done. You brought up neutralized thinking this morning. I had to make sure I spelled neutralized right. Had to get on there and Google it.
Yeah, man, I love your spelling. You're amazing. You're an amazing speller. I love it. Neutralized thinking. How's everyone doing today? What's going on? Just here back at it again every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, your lunch hour. Just trying to put some positivity back in this world. Think
Boom.
positive. Vocalize it, put it out there, because this is the way life needs to be. But in reality, sometimes we get down on ourselves, right? Sometimes, man, life sucks, and it'll slap you in the face. So what do we do? What do we do when life's slapping you in the face? Well, I was listening to something today, and I just thought it would be a sense of encouragement, because it's crazy how life does smack you, right? You'll go from day to day and you'll be like, oh my gosh, like I'm not motivated today, or like just life sucks today, or my kids are just beating me up today and I just don't have the mentality to get through it, or I didn't get really good sleep last night and I hate my wife, and she doesn't put out enough, or it's vice versa. My husband sucks because he's big, fat, and ugly, and hairy, and I don't like him.
There's
And
always some days where the negatives seem to shine. And
the
if
negative
if
thinking,
if you
right?
focus on those negatives, they start to grow. And almost like things get worse. It's like, some of the guruisms, like we say, I mean, they're true. What you focus on, is what you get. What you envision and what you take action on, those are the results you're going to get. So if you're upset that, you had a bad weekend of eating or you missed working out, and then you let it carry on through Wednesday of this week, well, I mean, you're just allowing yourself to continue to go down that path that's not going to get you results. And so, use this as a pivot. Neither of us claim to be perfect. That's not why we're on these streams. We're here to tell you that, listen, we deal with that stuff too. So don't allow those bad days to pile up, or those bad thoughts to pile up. You got to break that and start creating momentum in the other direction somehow, some way.
Yeah. So that is that's what we call neutralized thinking. How do you neutralize it? Pat, get on here though. I want to talk to you about. We'll bounce a couple ideas. So stay on, and we'll get some good things going, get some good vibes. But how do you neutralize that positive thinking? And the reason why I want to bring on Pat, we just had a conversation before we hopped on live. Somebody had reached out to him and was like, look, you inspire me, right? You inspire me. Your 600 days of sobriety, and how you constantly pivot and you're reacting towards, some neutralized thought. And she was like, life's beating me up. People are like, why don't you drink anymore? Why can't you have fun? And they're pressuring her into something she doesn't want to do, right? And instead of okay, focusing on the negatives, yeah, I can't drink, or maybe, yeah, I want to hit the bottle again. It's more so, how do I reach out to somebody? What's my controllable, right? And how do I reach out to somebody to still empower what's positive to me, right? She said she lost weight. She said she's so proud of the fact that she's 150 days sober. How is that? That's neutralized thinking, right? Somebody feeds you, right, with like negative information that just is gonna like beat you down, or it's gonna tailor you, or like pivot you away from what you're trying to get at. And it's like you need to stay your course, stay your lane. We talked about this, but like when you're constantly being beat up along the way, because life, there's a lot of negative people out there. There's just going to be a lot. How do you neutralize that? And I got a little bit even more perspective in the game of baseball, right? There's guys. I love this psychology in baseball. Is that there's guys, right? It's a game that where you're only going to be at best some of the best hitters, right? Ted Williams, Babe Ruth. We're talking Jackie Robinson, like all these people, right? Were had the mentality, and they're never going to hit the ball over 50% of the time, right? You're never like you're almost destined for failure in the game of baseball. You're going to strike out a ton. You're going to do these things, but like, how do you have the mentality like a Mike Trout, you know? And Mike Trout, without a doubt, your slope is coming. Without a doubt, it's coming. You're eventually going to hit somewhere. You know, there's going to be a couple games where you're going to have an 0 for 4 and 0 for 8 and an 0 for 6. It's not that slump. It's the extension of the slump, right? How long are you going to focus, or are you going to neutralize that thinking and start saying out loud, "No, I'm going to hit a home run tomorrow. Tomorrow, I got it in me." How many baseball players said it? Just said Babe Ruth pointed his bat, right? He's like, "Dude, I'm going to hit this one out of the park." And he vocalized it. He told everyone, "I'm gonna hit this one out of the park," and he hit it out of the park.
And that's interesting too, because that girl I was talking to, and whenever I publish a video, she's the reason why I was on the call. She was agreeing to make a video saying, "Here's the changes I made from what I see Pat holding himself accountable for," because she made a declaration 6 months ago or whatever that number is to say, "Hey, I'm not going to drink anymore. I'm going to focus more on my health. I'm going to focus more on my business and my weight loss and my goals as a mom and as a business owner." And I don't think that that gets highlighted enough either. I mean, we talk about our wives a lot on here and our girls on here. I don't think that the successful female gets highlighted enough. You know, I think we talk about, like, we're guys, so we talk about like baseball players and home run hitters. I was going to joke and say I liked the steroid era the best, but you know, we like to see replays, home runs, knockouts, slam dunks, goals, English Premier League soccer goals. It's all like it's there's a lot of bro culture out there because that's what we're shown. But I think sometimes what doesn't get highlighted enough is like the female success stories. You know, I had a girl on my show the other day, a friend of mine, Nicole. She's a single mom, and she does over 100 short sales a month in real estate. Insane. That's a lot. And she's a mom with 2 kids. I mean, she's a star. And I think it's important to remember that in that interview, most of the things that she talked about, because real estate's not really my passion. I'm passionate about what makes you tick, what gets you those results. And it's accountability, working out when she doesn't want to, discipline to show up early when she doesn't want to stay late, to make sure that, you know what I mean, all these different factors that go into her being successful. And a lot of it is stuff that's outside of making calls or, you know, bringing in sales and stuff. If she's not prepared for all of that, she's not going to excel. Yeah. And so all of these things, thinking the right way is everything. And when it comes to success.
And we always forget, you know, the destination is the journey. How do you fall in love with the journey, right? And how do you neutralize the pitfall? So getting on just what we're talking about is that, you know, doing 100 short sales, or I was even thinking how celebrating the women, right? Serena Williams, how she's #1 in the world. She has a baby. She comes out, loses a few tournaments, and is just getting beat up, right? Yeah. And how does she get back to #1 in the world? Is after having a baby. It's crazy for her to get that, and we can focus on this level of success, but it's neutralizing that thinking, that limiting belief that, hey, we're going to be down. I was talking to a buddy that reached out to me the other day, love him to death, and just wanted to encourage him, dude. Like, you're going through an experience right now where you have limiting belief, and we need to neutralize that. And it only, like, you can have it maybe for a short period, day, 2 days, maybe even it might be extend 2 weeks. But how do we limit that, right? How do we limit that and neutralize it so that we can get on to positive thinking again, right? We don't want to take the shift of like negative thinking, woe is me, having that mentality. We have to realize that reality is reality and controllables are controllables. What can we control and how do we progress forward, right? And I choose I choose to work my ass off. I like in the controllables that I can control. I can control only a certain amount of things, and I try to be disciplined in that approach and try to move that forward. How do I lead? How do I manage? You know, my purpose, my why, and my family. And then I want to neutralize the thinking, right? I don't want to neutralize and focus like, hey, my wife and I don't have sex enough. Okay, we might not. You know, I thought, you know, we're parenting 3 kids. We're tired at the end of the day. But the reality is, like, if that's going to be my thought process consistently over and over and over again, oh, she's not good enough for me, then somebody else is. Talking to another buddy, you know, it's just like the reality of like how he thinks of marriage. It's just not how it is, man. You got to start empowering your wife. I tell my wife how beautiful she is every day. It's not that, hey, like our marriage sucks. Well, what's your controllable? Work on your marriage, right? Your
Right.
controllable. How do I identify some of maybe what I consider the shortfalls in my wife and make them strengths, right? What can I focus on a positive in my wife and even empower her to be even better in that area? Where am I empowering my wife? How do I make my marriage? If that's my area of focus, that's my why. And I'll tell you right now, when parenting children becomes a lot easier when you're locking arms with your wife. When you're all right, she's my ride. You know, she's my day one. She's like, we're in this together. You got to be. It's a team effort in marriage. So, you know, I say that. And it might sound easy, but it wasn't like that for me 3-4 years ago. Like it just became my why, my purpose, my drive. Like I'm going to empower her. And then everything else became irrelevant. I had to neutralize my negative thinking of the way I thought about my marriage, the way I thought about other people, my relationships, my business. Woe is me. No, I'm going to neutralize that. And now I'm going to focus positive. I'm going to create the controllables on how I can create positivity. And then I'm going to make that into for longevity purposes. You know, it's just so important. You know, positivity is nourishment to the bones, right? And it's so nourishing and so planet. It's just hydrating. I love that word. Is hydrating to your body when you're constantly feeding your mind with positive just words of affirmation of how you're going to do things, declaring things like as Pat was saying, declaring out into the world that like I can do this.
Right.
No matter how big it is. It doesn't matter if you're starting in your garage, right? It doesn't matter where it is, but it all comes down to action. Pat talks about that.
I mean, I remember playing in the corner. I was playing my acoustic guitar in a little corner, like in a corner of the bar in California one afternoon, and Grant Cardone posted that, you know, hey, somebody out there, if you're an artist, you know, make me some content and I'll post it on my pages. And I wrote a little song in the corner and started singing it about, you know, Uncle G needs to get verified on Instagram. And I was telling everybody, you know, the 7 people that were there watching me perform that, hey, just wait. This is going to get, you know, 100,000 views tomorrow on Instagram and Facebook. And they were like, whatever, dude. That guy's not going to share it. He doesn't care. That guy's probably some crazy, you know, wild salesman guy that doesn't care. And well, guess what? You know, a year and a half from that moment, I was performing on his stage in front of 10,000 people. He liked it so much. So I encourage you to think about the fact that if you think you have a great idea, and if you know that making whatever that idea is possible, then you should just do it. Because the more you ask for a pat on the back for something that hasn't been proven or hasn't been shown to be possible, the more people are going to think you're crazy. And, you know, crazy people are the ones that change the world. So I encourage you to think about what is the highest level of capacity you can achieve and then make a decision to take the steps to get there. This is all part of this thinking that you're talking about. And, I mean, I've met a lot of these motivational gurus and influencers, and I think that for a while I was like, oh, these people, a lot of them, they just say this stuff and they don't really care. And that's not true. That's an excuse to hold you back from trying to get into that level that you're capable of sharing the stage with the highest level person you can think of. Oh, I can't do that. That's for somebody else. Well, what you're doing is you're opening the door for that somebody else to do it because you're not taking the action to do it.
Yeah, and I don't mean to like beat on, like, obviously we're talking to everyone. We're just trying to give a generic idea, but one action item,
it's
right?
True. It's the truth. I
want to wrap up. Yeah, but no, it's absolute truth, and I mean that foreknowledge is definitely what people need to hear. But so I'm just talking about personal experience, right? The destination is the journey. And
well, yeah, you
falling
got
on
to enjoy everything in between because it's not all going to be sunshine and rainbows. But we're here for you. We're here for you. We get it.
The power of neutralized thinking. And so the one thing that just was highlighted in what I was listening to this morning as I was at building my mental mode for the day, and just like the affirmations and the power of positive thinking, is obviously controlled thinking, neutralized thinking, and not like neutralizing those negative thoughts. Now, what does that look like, right? You're like, okay, well, life is gonna suck. The reality of COVID sucks. Like there's things just suck, sometimes. I lost my job. It sucks. There's two things that you can do, right? There's two of the most powerful things that you can do, right? Number one is take action, right? Take action. So no matter what it is, there's we talked about discernment. Everyone has a level of like, okay, this is good, this is bad. So you need to focus on what is good, what is bad, and then I take action on it. What is the controllable? How can I move forward? And then the second thing is don't be afraid to ask for help. Like there are people reaching out. You have to be discerned in who you're surrounded. You're uncomfortable with. I have my tribe, right? I have my people that I surround myself with, that I love and I cherish, and they empower me to become a better person. But like when I surround myself with a tribe, I identify people that are gonna like empower me, right? That are gonna put like positive things within me. And so I encourage don't be afraid to ask for help. Help is so important. Who it is. You obviously have hopefully you have a trusting and advising person that you can go to. If not, there's plenty of people out there. There's so many networks that you can create that you can just ask for help. So I would encourage those two things. Take action. Take action, number one, and don't be afraid to ask for help. I mean, help is definitely going to be there. But don't be afraid if somebody says no, though, too, because it's a lot of times it's a game of like getting to the yes, right? I'm in that game, right? Of like different real estate activities. It's not for everyone's palate, but eventually there will be a yes down the road. So it can't be like, woe is me, man. This person, I asked two people and they both said no. And I'm like,
welcome to the club.
Yeah, welcome to the club. There's going to be a lot of people that tell you no. But neutralize that thinking, and you're like, oh man, how long is it going to take before I get to a yes? And that's neutralizing those negative thoughts and growing from it. But that's what I want to get out today. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, the Acoustic Force. Listen, here we hear from Reap the Harvest, and just want to put some positivity in your day today.
For sure.
Lunch, but subscribe if you're enjoying this. Please. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, watch the replays too. The replays are all available on YouTube and Facebook, obviously, because we stream live on those platforms. But I'm slowly but surely every day or two posting all these replays on Matt's Instagram too. So if you want to communicate, I think Instagram's the easiest way to message back and forth. I think their DM system's extremely convenient. So hit us up over there. Keep in touch. Stay positive, and don't be afraid to put yourself out there. If you're not putting yourself out there using the internet right now, man, you should be. Oh, I mean, even Matty Matt's in the zone.
Matty Matt's in the zone, planting those seeds.
I love it. I love it. Cadence Capital in the house. We'll see.